Two, one.
Before we begin, we want to inform our listeners that this episode contains discussions about sensitive topics including violence, suicidal thoughts, depression, and mental health struggles.
These topics may be distressing or triggering for some individuals. Please listen with care and consider your own well being.
If you or someone you know is struggling with these issues, we encourage you to seek support from mental health professionals or by contacting a crisis support hotline.
Your mental health and safety are important to both of us. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to episode 4 now, holy shit, of Spill the Noodles. I am your host, Jamie, and Ailish is here too.
Hello.
So, I'd like to quickly point out that this is differently named, and it doesn't say part 2, but this very much is part 2 of episode 3. So, if you are, from episode 3, thank you. If you're not, it doesn't really matter
You should go check it
because
out.
you should check it out, but it's not like a
It's
continuation.
not like part 2 of a story, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different story, but within the same topic. So, okay, now we're all caught up. We have a very icky and disgusting, I don't want to say person, but thing
Being.
that we were speaking about today mainly. It's is in a sense your kind of proper relationship kind of topic story thing.
I don't know if I'd classify it as relationship in less of like the romantic
Yes.
sense. 'Cause there was
Yeah.
no love. There was absolutely no love.
Yeah. Just the
Ugh.
like relationship in general.
Yeah.
Um so yeah. Oh, I have also done something, and anyone
Oh,
who's listening on audio will not understand what I'm saying. But yeah. So
I do
well,
see what has just happened,
yeah,
but
it's
we'll
weird.
roll. We'll roll with it. I'll do some intros. So this stories perhaps revolves around the character that we have named TC. This is a real person. This is all about a real person, but I'm calling it a character because I'm coping. Um, some of the screenshots that will be referenced to later on may call me Emma instead of Ailish, as I did go by that name online for quite some time. But they are, in fact, both me, same person. Um, Jamie will still be referred to as Jamie.
Yes.
And then there will be another character who's involved in my stories by the name of Sharky, who
We
is
love
still a
Sharky.
lovely friend today. We love Sharky. She is very lovely. But we have given her a nickname for her protection and anonymity.
Heck yes. Okay, so I suppose I should start with how I know TC, which is it
Yeah,
wasn't out of
yeah.
my choice, can I just say. Um I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think that I would have, if we weren't in this setting, I would have ever kind of say we were out somewhere, not us specifically, but if I was out or with someone out somewhere and I spoke to him once or twice when I was out, I don't think I would have like willingly became friends with him or kind of got to know him. It
Mm-hmm.
because I know obviously you don't know him in person like I do, but
Thank God.
the the way he is online is very much the same, if not somewhat worse in person. So that is very scary to me and Ailish. But for anyone
Yeah.
who doesn't know, you will very much get to know throughout this episode. So
Unfortunately for you.
yeah. Um yeah, I went to school with TC and it was high school, I think. I don't think I went to um primary school with him. So yeah, high school. I met him. I think I would have probably started speaking to him. I want to say S2, S3. No, it must have been S2. I don't think I spoke to him in S1. I could be wrong on that part. I don't know exactly when I spoke to him, but I know it was a long time ago. I left school 6 years ago now. Holy shit. Um, so that's mental to think about it. But yeah, I've known him for a very long time. Not the most intriguing person, but yeah, I will be honest. I don't have much to say other than I met him in school. He wasn't a very nice person, and I don't think I would have been friends with him if I didn't meet him in school and was basically in the exact same setting with him 5 days of the week. So yeah, I will let Ailish get on with her wonderful story about this thing.
Okay. So I gotta set the scene here. I first met him um shortly after I joined a good friend of both of ours, Tron Wolf, lovely streamer, shout out to Tron. Um and this would have been,
Ooh,
I joined Tron's server May 2021, I think it was. May 2020 to May 2021. May 2020, blah, 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 sorry,
nice.
May 2nd, 2021 is the exact date that I joined his server. I just found it. Um, he was in, TC was in the same server. And I didn't really interact with him much apart from like maybe the odd convo here and there. I was kind of doing my own thing. I also, most of the people in this story, apart from me, live in Europe, and I am in Canada. So the time zones definitely affected how much I would kind of interact with people that I wasn't planning to interact with, just because they wouldn't be around when I was. Um, but I did begin to talk with him more after I had let it slip to him one day that I was having issues with my boyfriend at the time, now ex. Um, and TC decided to kind of put up this front as like a very comforting, caring, supportive person. Um, and just to quickly side note, and I'm not overstating this when I say that truly and honestly, he's an abuser, and those kinds of people will never show their colors right away. They will always put on some sort of act, and that's kind of how they reel you in, and then they slowly over time they'll kind of let show their real self, but it never tends to be all at once. They kind of do it in small increments so that you get used to each new thing that happens, and by the time that they're being their true, awful, disgusting selves, you're just kind of used to it in a really horrible way. Um,
I
and
100% agree, by the way. I just wanted to
yeah,
quickly jump in with something. That is, I like I say, heavily agree. And if you watched episode 3 from my story, you will very much be able to tell that what Ailish is saying is very much how it goes. Because if you haven't watched episode 3, quick rundown, nice at first, not after. That's basically episode 3 in a nutshell. Have fun. But yeah, no, that's all I really wanted to pitch in
yeah,
and say is I very much agree with that. And
yeah.
if you watched episode 3, you know.
It's definitely a pattern between all of those kinds of people. Um, and so when I first knew him, he seemed like a genuinely kind of decent, interesting guy, and I was pretty down at the time, so I was emotionally vulnerable. I wasn't doing great. I was having issues with my boyfriend at the time, my ex. And I wasn't feeling great. So having someone to, be there to comfort me and kind of validate my feelings and my issues in that moment, that was what I needed, and he knew that that was what I was needing. And so he preyed on that and used it to his advantage. Um, and so I became friends with him during that time. And I did eventually also break it off with the ex. And this would have all happened in August. And it was also in August of 2021 that I became very close with Sharky. And because I was friends with TC at this time, and he was kind of one of the few people that I was consistently talking to or playing games with, I also introduced Sharky to him. And we kind of became a trio that would hang out and play a lot of Minecraft or other games together. Um, about a month or so later, so this would have been September or October time, was kind of the first big red flag that he showed. And before I get into it, people are going to say, well, why didn't you leave after this? Well, it was like the first big issue. And so I kind of just blew it off as maybe a one time thing. I kind of dismissed it, which, you should never do with any sort of big issues, especially something like this. It's like very blatant and obvious. Don't dismiss it. Go with your gut. Trust your gut, because your gut is always right. Always. Um, but anyway, during all of this, I want to add quickly, I was working part time at a local movie theater. So the night of the issue, I was working a cleaning shift, a night cleaning shift, and he decided at about 8 to 9 p.m. my time that he was going to pull a little test on me. Um, and this is where the disclaimer comes in. So people who have some issues, you might want to skip through this bit because it's definitely a little rough. Um, the test he decided to input was to see what I would do if he killed himself. And so he sent me some cryptic message that just said, I'll see you in another lifetime, dot, 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 something along those lines. And then he just stopped messaging. And so I was, frantically texting. I'm working. I can't just run away somewhere. I have to do my job. I already took my break. So I'm trying to send off texts while I'm still trying to do my job. And I truly, because the conversation we'd had prior to this was kind of a very, maybe more sad, somber conversation. And it really did feel like he had just gone and he wasn't answering me. And I was like, holy shit. And then 10 minutes later, he comes back and he says, haha, just kidding. It was a test. And that was the first big red flag. It's fun times for me. Um, I did also find out the next day that he pulled the same thing on Sharky as well. So wasn't even just me that he did that to. Yay, both of us.
I did not know that
Uh,
one.
yeah, he did it to her while she was at school, actually. Um, so yeah, no, he picked his times. I think he picked those times on purpose because we were both quote unquote busy. Uh, well, not quote unquote. We were busy. We were doing things. Anyway, I also forgot about this, and I just now remembered he actually brought this test up at a later date and used it against me. And he said that I clearly didn't care about him because I didn't call him during that. And that was why he did that test, because I was apparently supposed to call him. And that was why I quote unquote failed the test and I don't care for him. And he would use pretty much anything that made him upset. He would use as an example of why we did not care about him and why that we clearly wanted him to die and leave the world. Um, so yeah, good times. Good times were had by all. Um, to kind of sidetrack a little bit for a moment, and this might be something that you have also noticed in him. But he was probably the ragiest gamer I have ever met. Truly and honestly.
100%.
Yeah, there's a line between being competitive in a game and kind of wanting to win and taking it more seriously, and then there's the other side of that line where you've taken it too far and it's still just a game in the end, and it's not like you're gonna die if you lose or anything. But he would kind of act like it was the end of the world. um and so he was especially hard on Sharky. Neither of us, me nor Sharky, are very good at shooter games, but at the time, Sharky was more so struggling than I was. And so after they lost a game, and I'm reading these verbatim from the screenshots that Sharky sent me. He says, "Uninstall. Stop playing FPS games. Uninstall. You won't get you won't get me being annoyed at you if you do. Play it alone instead of calling me. I'm serious. I don't want to play with you anymore. I'm done. I want to stream properly this year, and you cannot join me for that. You suck. Uh, Go back to playing Bed Wars or playing The Sims or something. Do not touch FPS games." Um, Literally, what? I don't know what that one means. He doesn't exactly word things correctly. Um,
I've also noticed
but yeah.
that.
Yeah. Uh, but that was kind of how it was. I have another example as well. If I can find it quickly,
Yeah.
where he said something kind of similar to me as well. Because yeah, he's just not a very good person. Um, the game that we would play the most was Overwatch, and specifically we'd play competitive Overwatch, just because the matchings tended to be a little bit better than unranked.
Yeah.
And so he said, "I'm not playing comp with you anymore. And that's all I'm playing now. So fuck off. You both need to get out of the it's just a game mentality and grow up. If you weren't so fucking stupid and actually thought of what you were doing instead of trying to deal the most damage in hopes I call you a good girl, sucking up my ass thinking all I care about is medals, you don't use your brains, the simplest shit, and you don't do it. That's what annoys the fuck out of me. Whether it be you running as a Mercy or oh god, or Sharky sprinting down the middle of the map as Hanzo. Sharky didn't even realize you could bounce junk nades off the angled walls. That's common sense." Uh, yeah.
I
And
I'd like
then
to
he,
somewhat pitch in just before you carry on. It may I in a sense to him feel like common sense. I guess, but it's not. You know, to
yeah,
everyone.
you
Like
know,
it's not
especially
something.
not to people who are new at shooter games, because at the
Yeah,
time I do believe Sharky was pretty new in general to shooter games, but specifically Overwatch, Sharky had never played before, so it's not like she knew that junk snays would do anything like that. Like, she didn't know, she
yeah,
was learning, she was new to the game, man. It's not common sense when you've never played it before.
100%. Like people got to learn. Just it's called patience, and from
He had
my
none of that.
experience and very much yours, well, especially from what you just said, he has fucking none. So
Yeah, yeah, no, there were definitely a lot more incidents, but those were kind of the two ones that I could easily find. I also just did not want to go searching too far. Yeah, it was already a battle to find the things that I did. From then on, though, the next major incident that I can really remember, and this was the one I'd like to state right now that kind of truly opened my eyes to who he was as a person. And this is about the point where if it had just been, me talking to him, if Sharky hadn't been a part of the friend group either, this is the point where I would have dipped and been gone and said, "Yeah, bye, peace out, I'm good." Um, I'll definitely explain more what I mean by that. But yeah. So uh, I actually wrote it down right here. Haha, I was gonna explain it right now. Yeah,
Ah, ha,
I
ha, ha,
didn't
ha.
want to leave. I didn't want to leave the friend group, I guess as we can call it,
Mm,
without Sharky because even before this incident, at that point, I'd kind of gotten the vibe that yeah, he's not a super great person, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving without Sharky. It took me a long time to kind of learn that I needed to put myself and my mental health first, and that I was not responsible for keeping Sharky safe, and that like I should not be sacrificing my own well-being to keep her safe because I needed to also look at myself and protect myself.
100%.
Um, and so, yeah, that was a big reason as to why I stayed as long as I did. It was because I just felt obligated to be there as a buffer between him and Sharky. Because, as I'm about to get into, at this point in time, so this was about November now,
Right.
Sharky was 15 and a half. TC was a couple weeks of being 18. So
Right.
there was a very big, there was an age gap, a
Yeah.
considerable one, especially considering he, actually, I don't know about his schooling too much, but yeah, he was on a very different path and than Sharky was, like a different point in life than Sharky. Sharky was still, in my eyes, and I do love her, and I'm so sorry because I know she's gonna listen to this, but in my eyes, at that point, she was still very much so a child,
Yeah.
and
100%.
like I me being I think I was 17 at that point. Um, I felt like I needed to protect her because I saw her as me. As we talked about in the previous episode, you know, I was in a similar situation where I was 14 and I had a 17-year-old guy that was taking advantage of the fact that I was young and naive. And I could just see that same situation playing out again. And I didn't want to leave her alone. I couldn't. Um, but anyway, on to the incident. I found out in November at some point, and I don't entirely know how far it went. At least at this point, I didn't. In the end, we'll get to what all did happen. But I found out that TC had made moves on Sharky. And when I found this out, I was very concerned and disturbed, honestly, because, like I'd mentioned, he was a couple weeks shy of being 18. He was almost a full legal adult.
Yeah.
And we were just a couple weeks from that being very, very illegal and not okay. And if you're a couple weeks shy of something being illegal and not okay, it, even if legally it's technically okay, that does not make it okay. And I was very, very pissed off. And I wish that I had screenshots of the things that I said to him because I know, despite the fact that I don't really remember what I said, that I lost my ever loving shit on him because he was too old and she was too young for him to be making any sort of move on
Mhm.
her at all. And I also knew that he was just not a safe person, and so that made me worry for Sharky on a whole different level. Um, After I lost my shit on him, he promised that he would stop immediately, but he also didn't really believe me saying that the age gap was an issue. He thought that I was just really jealous because
Oh.
he is a very egocentric, self centered, narcissistic person. So when I get upset about something, well, the world revolves around him, so it must have to do with my feelings towards him. Um, so yeah, that was
That's
fun belief to try and fix.
fucked. That
Yeah.
I know that, considering we have a podcast and, speaking is kind of the whole part of what I should be doing here. I have genuinely no words. That's
Yeah.
fucked. Like
Yeah.
there's fucked and then there's fucked. Like
Yeah. I truly I he's one of those people who any girl that even just interacts with him, even if like it's their job to, like a barista at a coffee shop, he is one of those people that I fully and completely believe, and I have also witnessed him have these beliefs. So it's not completely unfounded that I'm saying this. For him to believe that every single woman that interacts with him is immediately infatuated and in love with him and wants him. He's one of those kinds
Yeah.
of people who believe that wholeheartedly. Um, but anyway, back to the story. I actually don't really remember a whole lot happening after November until uh, I'm gonna say probably February. February.
February.
Yeah, I was reading something and my stupid brain saw a W and went, "Ooh, February."
Can I also just point out for anyone listening, um, just two small things. One, I'm finding most of this out at the same time as you. Some fair, I also know, but some I am finding out, so I am just as gobsmacked as you all probably are at the same time. And also, if it's not already obvious by every episode we've released so far, these are done in one take. So,
So
you
you're
know,
welcome.
authenticity, all that jazz. But like, I
Yeah,
apologize if we say things like February.
February or go because I can't speak English. Um, but anyway, about February, I believe
February.
was around the time where he actually managed to make some new friends, which was a very surprising thing because
Oh
at
my
this
god.
point, the only new people that had really come in was the occasional girl that he managed to trick into liking him. And then when they realized how he was as a real human being, they would instantly run and be gone. Um, so we only really saw the occasional other person. But yes,
Yeah.
here comes new friends. And it was around this time as well that he had gotten upset at me for some reason or another. Um, and just to quickly side note, as time goes on, I am more and more just completely over all of his shit. So him getting upset at me and then proceeding to block me and just not talk to me for days to weeks was kind of becoming the new norm. And so something had happened. I don't remember what, but he was going through one of those stages of sulking and ignoring me. But it was during this time that he met these new friends. But because he is who he is, he had these new friends that were very interesting and very exciting and very new. So he kind of just stopped talking to Sharky. Like he was kind of just ignoring her or giving her really short, cold answers. I don't know or remember if he was upset with her or not. I did mean to ask her, but I kind of forgot about that. Um, but she was feeling pretty, upset about that because she I'm trying to remember. I don't think during that time that she had a whole lot of like close friends. So it was kind of
Mm.
me, him, and then one person in real life from school. So uh, having him disappear or mostly disappear was pretty upsetting. It was a big difference. And so Sharky started hanging out with more with me to kind of fill up that time.
Yeah.
Um, and he wasn't happy with that because how dare she spend her time how she wants to, how could she do that to him? um
How dare
and
she have
so
someone else to speak to other
I
than
yeah
him?
and so he got very upset about this, and he made every time that he would get upset at both of us, he would make a group chat in Discord to kind of address the issue.
What? Right. Can I? J- what? Hold. That's like, in school, if like two people have fell out and then they make like a Snapchat group or whatever, and it's like resolving things, heart.
Yep.
What?
That's exactly what these were. I had, when I went looking originally for some screenshots and examples, I had 5 group chats, all from separate occasions. most of them were kind of like, I'm not gonna say boring, but they weren't like connected to the big issues. They were kind of like side problems. So I didn't bother including them all. But this one, the first one that I found, was the one from this incident where he was like, I don't know what's going on here, but you're feeding her head with lies and you're making her feel like I'm abandoning her. She was the one who felt abandoned. She came to me
Mm.
telling me these things. I did not tell her anything. I am a peacekeeper. Okay? As much as I didn't like him, I also knew that she was very attached to him. And so I was not going to like just tell her, oh, don't talk to him ever again. He's abandoning you. Like, I wasn't going to do it like that. I wanted her to be able to realize what I had realized on my own, because that's the best way for someone to leave these situations
Oh
is
yeah.
to realize how fucked up these situations are, because until then they can't. It's truly, it's so hard because you have these blinders on, you know it's not right, but you can't see any way out, you because it's become your whole life anyway. So um me being the peacekeeper that I am, when he started, this group chat and he was saying, I'm not abandoning you. I would never do such a thing. And you're filling your head with lies, blah, 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 blah. I answered and I said, you weren't really texting her. You could always just say, if you're busy or something, you could just say, hey, I'm busy. I might not be able to talk right now, but we'll talk later. Just something like that to communicate that you are not you are busy, and that is why you are not able to text. Because he hadn't done any of that. I was just trying to give a solution to the problem. And his response to that was, you are trying to drill in Sharky's head that I'm ignoring her. You vindictive fuck. What part of Sharky has nothing to do with this are you not getting? And Sharky, if you messaged me on Snap and asked me to play or just call, I'd have given you a time. And the only reason that I didn't, that one time you did, was because I was angry. I'm not
Or
ignoring you. I have things to do in my life. I also have a game to work on in my spare time. So if you are bothered that I didn't message you, why not message me? Oh, that's right, because no one ever does. You guys don't want to talk to me. You want to victimize yourself and push me away. Hold on, there's more. I'm just flipping a screenshot.
I
Screenshot
kind of
too.
just realized that I was laughing at this, and then that my mic is very much unmuted, so you're probably just hearing me heavily breathing. I promise you. I don't mean
Uh,
it.
okay. Was that the second? That was the second one. Okay. So I kept answering and I was trying to, give solutions. I was trying to gentle parent this man because at this point, I knew that me kind of matching his energy doesn't do anything. So I was going with a different tactic. I was trying to gentle parent him and give him solutions and be calm and zen, even though I wanted to strangle him. And in return, after a couple of me answering it,
Okay, for anyone who has
that'll be
just heard, wait,
that'll be like the one cut we do.
yeah, or I'll bleep it or something. So if you hear a beep or
It
it
was
randomly
a little
cuts,
whoopsie.
long story short, just for some context, Eilish fucked up.
Fucked up. um, but anyway, Sharky hadn't been like talking at all. Sharky got very overwhelmed by kind of the whole situation, and Sharky goes very quiet when she gets overwhelmed. So she wasn't talking. She was reading it, but she wasn't really answering in the group chat. I think she was texting me privately, um, as we were kind of each other's emotional support people anytime that he would throw a hiss fit. Um, and so anyway, his response to noticing this was, you see how I'm talking to both of you, yet only one's talking? Says it all. Sharky listens and accepts what I say, and then if she disagrees, she says why. You just get defensive and victimize yourself. Sharky, I'm sorry I was hostile to you. I will call you tomorrow and apologize myself. X. I see what's going on now, and you have every right to feel how you do, Sharky. X. Heart. Would like to quickly pause there.
Hmm.
That kind of attitude is exactly why people have trouble leaving abusers, because they flip the switch and they do things like that to make you feel like they still care and they're still the same person that you knew before they started doing all of this. They give you those little crumbs that make you continue to go back for more. Just to quickly sidetrack.
Oh no, I
I
very much
obviously,
agree with you.
yeah,
It
yeah.
um I want to quickly point something out, I guess. I don't really know how to word it,
Go
even
for
though
it.
word should be something that is the main part of it. But it doesn't matter if it's like a, in a sense, mental kind of abuse like
Mm-hmm.
this. Uh, I think that's probably the best way to class this. But it doesn't matter if it's mental, physical, anything. They will,
Emotional, financial.
yeah, absolutely. Abuse as a whole. Um, it doesn't matter what type it is. They will very much always. Well, I don't want to say always because there might be the odd abuser who
Yeah.
doesn't do it. So I don't know, but there's a good, let's say 99%.
There's a pattern when it
Yeah,
comes to this.
there's a very very big pattern, and they almost always will give you that little, like, in a sense, hint of, oh, I'm still the person you met type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I mean by that is the person they were pretending to be right at the start of
Mm-hmm.
the, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a really nice person, you should love me. um,
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter what kind. If it's really shitty and then it turns back to that, maybe just I'm not saying leave, do all that. I'm just saying maybe take a step back and kind of have a look at the situation.
Yeah. And
And
talk to other people as well. Share your
yeah,
concerns and your situations with other people, because a lot of the time you're kind of blind to maybe just what all is going on. So being able to share these with other people who have fresh perspectives, who can look from that outside view, who can take that step back for you sometimes if you're not able to yourself, it can be very helpful. Um, whether that's a friend, a family member, a
teacher.
professional, anyone. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Carry
Anyway.
on with your story.
um, so my response to that was, I stand up for myself. You can't seriously expect me to just sit here as you say all this shit about how we don't care or whatever else you want to say. Um, and this is one of the parts that makes me giggle. This was not the first time that he said something like this to me. It was not the last time that he said something like this to me. But uh, he then responds and goes, "You ever get Sharky involved again or try to manipulate her mentality, I'll make sure you hurt like I did."
Oh my god.
It makes me giggle. And then further on down. Now this is just to point out another example of something that he said, and he felt very tough in the moment doing it, but it was just one of those times where I just need to point it out because it just makes me laugh. I don't remember what the context of this was, but he was upset with me for some reason or another, and he I don't think I have the screenshots of the context. Oh, I do. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. So he had made some comments, and I was like, like, you can't. He had made some comment about being able to cut me off from my friends. Um, which is not. None of my friends liked him. None of them cared for him one bit. we all knew what he was like. Like he had no power over me, my life, or anything like that. But he thought that he did. And so he said to me, difference is, sweetheart, I can end your online presence with me and everyone I know in a matter of seconds. I am the alpha here, not you.
I don't know if it picked it up for you, but the recording will. I started pissing myself laughing when you said that.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, and then my response to that was um it must have been okay. It doesn't quite make sense. So he must have said something else that I didn't get a screenshot of. But I go, everyone you know too. How are you going to stop me from talking to others? And his response was, "Oh, believe me, honey, I know shit you don't." And I can't even take this man serious. I'm like, oh, that was my response. And,
Oh, honey, honey.
and he didn't like that. He didn't like that response at all. And he goes, "You really want to start shit? I dare you to start shit or shut up. Your choice. Your choice, sorry.
Your choice.
Um, your choice. Um, back your ass down 2 steps again and pipe down." I don't remember what I said to him. I don't have the screenshot of it. I just have another screenshot of something else he said. It was the same context. But I must have said something like, "What secrets?" or "What do I not know?" Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because he then goes, "It ain't a secret. You're an asshole."
Oh,
Uh, and no, it's not just who knows. How do you know I
Ailish.
haven't contacted others? Yes.
You did it again. You might need to repeat what you just said.
Motherfucker. Motherfucker. God damn it. Okay.
Yeah, you might want to
I
repeat
get
it.
too engrossed in the screenshots. Bleep.
No, you're okay. I'm time stamping these
Thank
as
you
we
for
go.
catching that. I did not catch that one. Um let me start my story over.
Just start
Um
from
it
Sharky.
ain't a secret. Okay. Um I'll just start the screenshot over. It ain't a secret. You're an asshole. And no, it's not just Sharky who knows. How do you know I haven't contacted others? The joys of being quiet really creep up on people, huh? What the fuck do you guys think I do when I sit alone, angry with people? Bake cakes? No.
Oh, baked cakes. Big cake, little cake. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's where the screenshot comes from. And then he says, because I'm looking at the timestamps, and then he says, I can end your online presence. That's when he says that. Yeah. So anyway,
Oh, okay.
um, he thought he was cool.
When did
I
you
I
not?
let him think that he was cool. Um, I let him think that he was the alpha. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Um, but anyway, to go back to the story now. Um, so that was kind of all connected to him getting very upset over me validating Sharky's feelings of abandonment by
Mhm.
him. Um, and so kind of from then on, he allowed me to
Oh.
come and talk with him again. And so I ended up meeting his new friends. And I did end up befriending one of them. We'll call him Crow. Uh, and there is one funny scenario before we kind of get to the next big issue. Um, so to sidetrack, TC's dream is to be a famous streamer. But because of who he is as a person and his personality and literally everything to do with him, he is not good at retaining viewers because he's just not a fun person at all. So he would use his abuse and manipulation to get people to join his stream in order to have at least one viewer to make him feel good about himself. And so me, Crow, and Sharky were all in his Twitch chat. I don't remember what he was playing, but because me and Crow had become friends, he'd actually ended up meeting a couple of my other friends, and we'll call the one that we reference B. So me and Crow and Sharky were all kind of talking about something in TC's game. I don't remember what it was, but then Crow had made some comment, and I said, "Oh, don't let B hear that." Just something along those lines. Just a quick reference to a person we both knew about a funny situation that happened recently. I don't remember what it was. Um, but TC was unhappy that we took our attention off of him for all of 2 seconds. He was not having it. He ended stream, and then he proceeded to send me so many messages, calling me an awful person, calling me a stream killer, calling me the reason he can't retain viewers. He said many things, but those are the only ones, unfortunately, that I can remember. I could not find the screenshots for this one. But just wanted to quickly add that one in because I thought it was just hilarious that he decided to blame me for his problems. He called me an awful person as well. He told me that I should never stream. Look at me now. Um,
More viewers than him.
no kidding. Literally, he could not retain viewers. Like the only time he would ever have one was when he got. Sharky tended to be the most often in his streams because he really kind of knew how to push her buttons, I guess, in a way. Um, which quickly sidetracks me. I don't know if I went past my note, but at some point, he did tell me that he loved having Sharky around because she was easy to manipulate, in his words, and it was fun for him to do so. He told me that to my face, that he loved to manipulate Sharky because it was easy to make her feel bad about things.
Wait, so
So
just to clarify, he
he told me with those words that he
genuinely admitted
loved.
it.
Yes, that
What
he
the
it was
fuck?
so easy to manipulate her and to make her do what he wanted. He told me that to my face,
That's
almost verbatim.
fuck.
I wish it was in a call, so it's not like I
Mm.
have any screenshots, unfortunately, for that one. Otherwise, would have pulled that immediately. Um, but anyway, eventually, those couple of friends that he made left him because they were all like, "Ew, you're disgusting. You throw giant man baby meltdowns and you yell at everything. We don't really care for you as a person, so peace." Um, I did end up keeping in contact with them. And this kind of leads us to the next big thing. So we are now in about May or June of 2022. And it was in June that this issue, I believe, kind of all came into the open. I found out, and this is kind of another heavy moment here. So, disclaimer, I found out from Crow that the two women that were in their friend group that were they were sisters. They were 13 and 14, or it might have even been 12 and 13. They I'd like to quickly add this whole friend group, apart from I think one or two, I think they all knew each other outside of like Discord and gaming and stuff. Like they all knew each other in real life, which is kind of why there was a bit of like an age difference.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
they were siblings of one of the people or something along those lines. I don't quite remember how it formed. But anyway, yeah, two of the girls, 12 and 13, or 13 and 14, somewhere in there. I found out that he had made moves on both of them and had requested pictures from both of them. I don't remember whether he got any from either of them,
I hope not.
but yeah, I do. And at this point, he was 18, way over 18. And so, yeah, When I found that out, I was like beyond livid. I was at this point. I was like, with or without Sharky, something's happening because I can't stay quiet. I'm not just gonna not do anything about this. I didn't have any proof, so it's not like I could do something in a legal sense. It's not like I could have called the police or sent them a tip or anything like that. We had no proof, but I could still use my words and I could still confront him about it because I was not going to just not let him get. I was not letting him get away with that.
Mhm.
Fuck no. And so I went to. I was like, "Hey, guess
English.
what, motherfucker? Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Ugh. Okay. I went. I went to Sharky with this information, and I was like, "Hey, I just found something really messed up," and I shared with her everything that I just found out, and she was like, "What? What the fuck?" That was like her wake up call, and she was like, "What the fuck? Like, we need to skedaddle skadoodle." Um, and so I was like, "Okay." Well, before we do, let me just quickly, crack my knuckles. Let me say a couple things to him that I've been holding in for quite some time. Um, and I have the screenshot of the message
Oh,
that I sent to him, where and I will admit the ending a little bit cheesy.
it can't be as
But
cheesy as some of the things that you sent me.
it's not as cheesy as some of the things he said. But I definitely I was just feeling in the moment, I was really wanting to reiterate that he was not to come near Sharky
Mhm.
because I felt very protective of Sharky, and Sharky was mine. Sharky was my person to protect, and I was not gonna let him come near her. And so I wanted him to understand that, and I was a little cheesy about it. Anyway, this is what I said to him. You are vile. All you do is use girls for their bodies. The hotter they are to you, the more value they have. You disgust me. You never take no as an answer, and you push till you get what you want, whether they're comfortable with it or not. You manipulate and blackmail and guilt trip everyone nearby. You lie and you make people feel worthless and horrible. Um, oh, to cut this off quickly, when
Oh,
I told Sharky that, I also found out that he had not, in fact, stopped making advances on Sharky. So
oh
there was
shit.
also that on top of the other two things, um, which was also a big, big no-no, especially because he turned 18. Big
Wee
no-no.
wee wee.
Wee woo wee woo. Um,
Non-alarm, non-alarm. Sorry.
and oh, I'm gonna cut out that sentence because that's perhaps a tad too informational for Sharky. Still protecting Sharky a little bit. That was personal information for her. But then I say, you leave us the hell alone. If you come around again, there will be hell to pay. Because after I found out about Sharky, I was like, okay, well, we do actually have evidence. If he were to try anything, we probably could actually potentially build something legal against him here. And at that point, I really wanted to. I so badly wanted to. So badly. I didn't, out of respect for Sharky. I didn't push any of that. Um, but I wanted to. Anyway, um, you don't know how far I will go to make sure you regret it. That was me kind of referencing the I will if I'm allowed to, if I'm given permission by Sharky and the other
Mhm.
people, I would love to build a legal case against you. And that was kind of what I was referencing there. Anyway, so don't push me. You say all these horrible things to us, but guess fucking what? They all apply to you. Half the time you try to tell us how we are, it's you describing yourself. You are controlling, vindictive, guilt tripping, selfish, arrogant, entitled, cunt. I do not want you anywhere near. You understand me? You do not talk to
Oh
her?
shit. Wait.
Motherfucker, motherfucker. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it.
It
I
took a
was doing
second that time.
so well. Oh, dude, my brain. I can't with nicknames. Truly, I can't even get normal names right. And then I have to nickname everybody? Why can't I name drop him? Why is it always damn it. Okay. I don't want you anywhere near Sharky. Uh you don't talk to her, you don't look at her, you don't think about her, nothing. That was how I ended it. A little cheesy, in my opinion. But I wanted to get the point across that he was to stay away.
Yeah.
That was my goal. I'd like to say I have never ever used the word cunt before, but I so badly wanted to use it with him because he was constantly calling me that, and it felt so perfect in that sentence. So I used it. It's the one and only time that I have ever called somebody that, and I'm very proud of it, and I will stand by it.
I am very proud of it.
I'm very proud. I am so proud of that text because oh, it made me so happy, and I wish I could have said something similar when I did finally cut him off. Um, but he blocked me before I got the chance. Shucks.
That's
Um,
quite upsetting.
it is quite upsetting. Anyway, uh, so yeah, after finding out all of that, I did. It was my chance to finally get Sharky away from him because she kind of had like a little bit of a light bulb moment. But like he admitted earlier, he knew what to do and what to say to get Sharky to kind of fold. And despite everything, Sharky ended up going back. And because I now knew the full scope of everything that had happened, I even more so wanted to continue to be around to try and protect Sharky, not Sharpie, to
Sharpie.
protect her and at least be there for her because I knew that if he cut me off, I wouldn't be able to, access her and talk to her the same way that I do if I'm in his quote unquote good books,
Yeah.
or at least on like mild speaking terms with him. So I went back. Um, and shortly after, so that was June. And come August was kind of the not quite the first time, but it was one of the big times that I remember where I really went, yeah, I think it's time for me to leave, even if it means leaving Sharky behind. Because um I knew I wasn't going to be able to get her to come with me, and I knew I needed to get out because I wasn't doing great, honestly. Um, Apart from dealing with him, I was also dealing with the fact that I was about to move away to a new city where I knew nobody, and I was going to be completely on my own, completely on my own, financially and socially, and in every way you could think of. I was going to be very, very alone, and that was a lot to process on its own. And then to have this all going on as well, I was existing. Um,
Mhm.
and so on one night, I was feeling pretty down. I was struggling to kind of feel happy in that moment, and so I was sharing to Sharky, some of my feelings. And this whole time, me and Sharky had a friendship where we were always, if we were feeling down about something, we'd always made sure to share it, so that at least we had someone to talk to about our feelings and how we were feeling. And Sharky had also recently been feeling kind of the same way that I was, very alone and sad. Um, and so she had shared that with me, and I'd kind of talked her through it, and I'd said, even though you might feel alone, like I'm still here for you. I will always be here for you. Yeah, I've got your back. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. In that moment, I wasn't anyway. Uh, but um, I was like, just talk with me. I'm here. I was trying to be comforting and stuff. And so when I started feeling those same thoughts, or not thoughts, but those same feelings, I went to Sharky because I felt like if anybody was going to understand me in that moment, it would be Sharky. And I did not read the situation right. Woo, 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 woo. Um, I shared my feelings with Sharky, and instead of reacting with comfort and care the way that I had or would with her, she got upset with me and very angry because I was feeling alone. But how could I possibly be feeling alone if she was there? And she kind of took my feelings as an offense to her. And I was kind of like, whoa, that does not sound like you. Um, it was because she had actually, when I said that to her, she went to TC
Mhm.
and told him what I said. And so she became very upset because he obviously twisted it to make her feel upset about it and made her feel like my feelings were hurtful comments towards her. And then he, of course, also came after me and started berating me for being an awful friend. And you know, that moment of sadness and vulnerability that I had was twisted into me just being a horrible person. And it made me feel not great. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to be moving to a new city soon. Why not just cut off a couple more people when I do? So that was kind of the plan. When I moved, they were also going to be left behind. Um, and so, unfortunately, not where the story ends. I didn't move and just immediately lose them. Uh, I did, however, move. A couple days into my move, I received kind of the perfect chance to get my outs. Um, this may be this may make me look like not the greatest person, and I will try to kind of explain my reaction. But I will side note here quickly and say I am a nervous laugher. I will laugh at like anything and everything just as like a reaction. If someone says something to me, there are times where I will just go just like because I've heard them and I don't know how else to show them that I've heard them. It's weird. It's a weird reaction. Don't really understand why it happens. But I laugh a lot. Let's just say that, even when I'm uncomfortable, like I am now. Uh, and so TC had made mention that he wanted to do a charity stream. I I kind of found it a little funny considering that like he truly in like the most realistic sense he didn't have the viewers for it. The only person who would ever watch a stream was Sharky didn't really have the money to even be able to make it a charity stream. Sharky could maybe donate like 5 cents or something, which,
Mhm.
anything we can give to charity, let's give to charity, but that's not the point of this. It wasn't, I didn't see how it was going to work out. And apart from that, I also found it a little funny because he's not a charitable individual. He, like I said, self centered, narcissistic, not somebody who you would ever expect of wanting to give anything to any charity unless the charity is himself. Uh, and so I giggled a little bit. I couldn't help it. And because my mic is pretty sensitive, it picked it up. And he was not happy with my reaction. And he threw a fit and he called me many words under the sun. And then he blocked me. And instead of, me kind of letting him sulk for a couple days before giving some half-assed apology so that I could get back into his good books, I left it. I didn't bother. I didn't cut Sharky off because I did still. Me and Sharky were best friends. I didn't want to cut Sharky off. That was the tough one, really. And I just said, like I don't want to be around him, and because he's sulking, I know he doesn't want to be around me either. So, if you ever want to hang out with me, let's hang out. Let's keep chatting. But I don't really want to hear about him. And that went okay. But eventually, while I was gone, um, and this was about October, Sharky and TC became an item. Um,
Ooh.
Now, I'm not really going to share the details
Yeah.
of any of that because I love Sharky and her privacy matters very much. But to summarize, it was a dumpster fire. truly and honestly. Um, and when they broke up, they both came back to me. Not just Sharky, but TC did as well. And I was very hesitant to let TC speak to me at all, honestly, because at that point, I had been free of him for roughly 2 months, maybe just slightly under. So I had begun to actually, heal and feel better, and I'd gotten used to my life in a new city. I was starting to do okay. I wasn't great, but I was better without him, and I truly knew and understood that I couldn't have him in my life. That being said, I am also a bit of a sucker for tea and drama, and I really wanted to know his side of what all had happened in their relationship. And I figured I could learn about that, and it might help me understand what all was going on with Sharky as well, because I knew something had happened, but I didn't quite know the full details of what all had gone down. Sharky had kind of not quite gone MIA, but um, it was a couple days before I heard from her, so I was a little worried. I wanted to know what happened, and so I was like, okay, we'll keep mild contact because I want to know what happened. And so I let that happen, and eventually the two of them began to start talking with each other again. Um, and that was kind of when I started looking for my way out permanently, to be gone and free, because the moment that he came back in my life, I was like, ugh, I can't, I'm not, can't entertain this even a little bit. Um, and so I started chatting with B, and her and I had come up with this lovely plan on how I was going to rid myself of TC, and then kind of chat with Sharky and be like, hey, I kind of need to go low contact with you. I can't have him in my life. Um, the day before, like quite literally, the day before I was going to enact this plan, something happened. And so I took that something as like my chance to leave. I wasn't gonna stick around just to pace the next day. Um, to quickly side note, as a biological woman, every month I go through like a week of just hell, and it's a lot better now. But back then, before I started being able to properly regulate it, I had a lot of really, really awful side effects, and I would be bedridden for a couple days every month, and it was not a great time. And the only way I could really function was by taking a whole bunch of alcohol, or not alcohol, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Taking a whole bunch of Advil or Tylenol, sometimes both, depending on what all was wrong with me. So I didn't really, unless I was having to go to class or something, I tended to just kind of take one, grab a heat pad, grab a bunch of blankets, and then just suffer in the darkness for however long. Um, and so I was in one of those rough patches, and they had been trying to get me to play games with them, and I was like, I can't. Like, I truly and honestly, I can't. But with that in mind, I had the week prior agreed to play games with a couple other of my friends. We'll call them Fifi and Purple. And so, because I'd already agreed to plans with them, I was like, okay, I'll take a bunch of pills. I'm feeling a little bit, at least a little bit better today. It's a bit more manageable. I'll just set myself up, get a bunch of warm drinks, and we'll deal with it. And I really like Fifi and Purple. They're good friends of mine, so I didn't really want to bail on them, even if they would have understood. So got on games with Fifi and Purple, and despite TC, we had actually at this point begun streaming our gameplay. And so we decided, well, we're hopping on this really fun game that we're all enjoying, so why not stream it as well? Because something always seemed to happen on that game. And so we got our stream all set up, started playing through, but about an hour in, TC noticed that I was streaming. And just earlier that day, I declined playing with them because I felt awful, which was true. I did feel awful. I still felt awful, but I had made plans and I wasn't going to abandon those plans. So, because in his mind, because I was playing games, in his mind, I had lied. I had lied about everything, and it was very obvious that I was a horrible human being, a bitch, as he loved to call me. Um, and so he lost it on me. Truly and honestly, he lost it on me. Um, and I was like, you know what? I was gonna leave tomorrow anyway. Let's just let it happen now. It's already going. We'll just let it happen now. And so instead of me kind of answering maybe the way I would in order to stay in his good books or his graces, whatever, I just answered the way I really wanted to. And because of how drastic the change was between the version of me that would uh, pretend to feel sorry for speaking my mind and like the actual me who just did not give a shit about the fact that he was upset that I had declined him but had already made plans and commitments. Um, because of how different and drastic the change was, he thought my friends were telling me what to say, and he lost it even more. And I find it so funny that he thought that, because truly and honestly, that was the first time that he had interacted with like the real me, and not my version of me that had been keeping the peace this whole time. It's just so funny that, and so flattering, truly, that he thought that I would never be capable of such a thing. I'm glad to know that he underestimated me and I did that good a job at making him think that I was just some weak little person. And it's so good. And I want to see. I know I have the screenshots um of like at least some of the things that I said to him. Um I The funny thing though that I would like to mention while I'm looking for these is the fact that uh while he was accusing me of sharing my screen to my friends and having them help me answer, he was actually sharing his screen the entire time to Sharky and showing her everything that I was saying.
Oh.
So I think he was just kind of, as he did, as I mentioned earlier when I called him out the previous time, he projected how he acted onto everybody else. It's like when cheaters accuse you of cheating because they're doing it, and so they're projecting their fears that you'll find out about them, and they're projecting what they're doing onto you, and so then they start accusing you. That's what he would do. Um, and oh yes, he uh he thought he was acting all tough, and he told me, uh, and like I was calling him out for shit, in the text and stuff, and I was saying like, you're not a good person. You fucking suck. You're a dickhead to me 24/7. Like, I, why do I want to keep being around you? Um, and he said, oh, "You won't call me and say this to my face. You won't do it." And
Oh.
then I immediately called him, and you want to know what happened? He declined it. He would not pick up the phone and let me chew him out in the fucking call. He wouldn't do it. Oh,
Oh.
I wish he'd picked up.
What a
I had so
pussy.
many things to say. Yeah. Um, and then he used the excuse that I needed to call Sharky as well. That was his excuse as to why he didn't pick up, was because Sharky, who was not at all involved in this situation, needed to be involved in this situation. Um, and then he said, "You know what? You can disrespect me all you like, but don't ever disrespect my friends." I wasn't saying anything about her. I don't know. I don't know. He would say a lot of things to make him feel tough and big. Um, but that's kind of where it ended. I didn't really
Damn.
have any interactions with him after that point. He we did, me, him, and Sharky ended up hopping into a call. I don't remember what he said to me. I honestly, I don't think I was listening. I was still playing the game with Fifi and Purple, so I wasn't really paying attention to anything he said. It was just irrelevant to me. Um, and then after he was done his piece, I said, okay. And then he was not happy with that, so he left the call and he blocked me. And then he got Sharky to block me. So that was kind of like that was how it ended. Um, but to kind of end the story on a bit of a better note, um, Sharky did eventually leave as well. It took her some time. I know that I, from what I remember, from what she told me when we first kind of reconnected, was that it kind of got worse, and then she she met her now boyfriend, who kind of helped her realize just he helped her open her eyes to
Mhm.
everything that was going on, and gave her that outside perspective that she needed. Um, and he got her to leave. And so eventually she came back, reached out to me, and despite all of his attempts to keep us separated, me and Sharky are besties once more. And fuck you, TC, for ever being a part of that friendship. Oh, we would have thrived without him. We
Well,
do thrive without him.
I have just remembered some stuff. So I
Ooh.
have some fun things to add.
Oh my god, of course.
So obviously, me and TC were close. I don't really want to use the word friends because I didn't really see him at first, and a couple of other points later down the line, I did eventually see him as a friend at that point because I'll be honest, I was a bit lonely. Um, so yeah, I ended up basically, you know what, fuck it, yeah, he was my friend, and then obviously when this is going on and we are friends at this point, oh, some words were said about yous to me. I I don't know if I have screenshots. I will very much look for these. I
Oh,
think
please.
I think I could be wrong. I think it was over a call though. So I
Darn.
might not.
I see. I love finding out about him talking shit about either of us because it's just so funny to me.
I do remember one vivid thing. And oh, the amount of like abuse that was hurled your way was unbelievable. Um, the one that I truly remember is about I almost did it myself. Sharky. That is close by the way. I genuinely was about to say it, and then I looked up, saw the nicknames, and went, "Oh, I can't say that." So yes, it was about Sharky, and I remember him after. I think it was after they split. I I I could be wrong on that, but it was either after or like during the kind of
The
conversation of
split
it.
would have been November 2020, 2022.
Probably sounds about right. Because it was like, yeah, no, it would have been probably about that. Because I remember it being like end of COVID type vibes.
Okay.
Um, so it was about that. It obviously what I'm about to say carried on for a lot longer than that. He repeated his words every 5 fucking minutes. It was just absolutely annoying. But yes, I remember him calling the wonderful fucking hell, and nicknames are hard. Uh
I know.
Sharky. A narcissist and very controlling. And he
Sorry.
it gets better, it gets better. And he now this is the one bit I remember word for word, because obviously, um, me and Sharky I think we were kind of um just kind of becoming friends, or like we were speaking and playing things. So yeah, kind of about time of us becoming friends. And basically, I remember him uh physically saying he quote unquote never got to do anything he wanted to do because you would always take over, and it wasn't fair because she never saw him for the man he was. It was either the good guy he was or the man he was. It was something along those
Oh,
lines.
oh my God. He used to call himself a good guy
Yeah.
so much. Holy, I forgot about that.
So realistically, it was probably a good guy. Let's be honest here. But yeah, so I remember him saying that about Sharky, and the abuse hurled at you was just horrendous. It happened every 2 seconds. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I know he called you a bitch a lot of times.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
his favorite one.
he called you a narcissist as well. I
Oh
remember that
yeah.
one. He, yeah, there was a lot. He just didn't fucking like you. Um, and
I'm glad.
I can't remember. I can't remember too much more because I've very, very much tried keep myself out of things, especially
Mhm.
if I'm not a part of them. Um, so yeah, this is just what I remember from him telling me over call or text or whatever. I also did have him on Snap, so there's a chance that it was sent over
Mm,
that, but obviously I now have a new Snap due to episode 3, and also I don't have him on there anymore
yeah.
for many reasons. So
Yeah.
yeah, have I
Yeah.
just
He sorry.
no, go on, go on.
He called me a bitch so much. That was his favorite go-to insult, which I just found hilarious. Like I truly I don't think there was ever a time where anything he said to me like actually bothered me all that much. I found most of it hilarious because like I noticed the irony of what he would say to me very early on. And so I was like, oh, so you're calling yourself all of this. Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, but I remembered something right now. So um after, and I found this out later from Sharky once she came back, but after I had finally got rid of them, um, I had reconnected with a couple of the European friends, the Europeans as I call them, including Tron Wolf, and
Big slow.
I had actually, got to talk with them again since getting rid of him, and in June 2023, me, Tron Wolf, and my boyfriend, and a couple of my other friends, to celebrate our gaming Twitch channel's 1 year birthday, we did like a giant stream and played a bunch of games. And I found out later that apparently he tuned into that stream and he was so mad that Tron was there. He like apparently he was fuming. Oh, hilarious.
He did
He
despise Tron.
also he did, and for a while apparently as well after I like this was newly after I had left. He would repost a bunch of really passive aggressive TikToks that were all like to do with me, and like they were supposed to be like shots and pointed jabs towards me, and I never saw any of them. The only thing that I saw after I got rid of him was the TikTok that he made that exposed him for screen sharing the conversation to Sharky, while accusing me of screen sharing the conversation to my friends. That was the only thing that I saw, and then I was like, okay, that's funny, very ironic, unsurprising, and then I proceeded to block him on everything.
Well, I've got a fun story, right, which
Ooh.
only involves TC, but I don't know how I've ever told you it, so it might make you
Oh.
hate him more, which is funny. So this is the reason I actually stopped speaking to him. So I have one of them I don't speak to anymore for a completely different reason. I wouldn't say hate. I wouldn't say dislike either. I ain't too fond of this person. Um, so there's now three characters in the story, including TC. So you've got, well, technically four if you include me, because I'm in a sense a part of this. So you got TC, my friend I'm gonna call Wolf, and this is Wolf's now recently ex Simples. There's a reason I call her Simples as well. It's not because of being rude. It was kind of a play on the username. So, uh, TC and Wolf fell out. I can't really remember what for. He just,
Oh, sorry. I just figured out who Wolf was.
yeah, I, I didn't know how else to say. Um, but I don't want to, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Wolf and Simples had broke up. Something wasn't going right. Yada yada yada. So they're broke up. Bye bye. Big sad. Um. So you are now having the fun bit. So TC fucking despises Wolf. Fuck knows why. It's kind of the same way as he despises Tron. There's not an actual valid reason. They've done nothing wrong. I think they just went against what he said maybe once and
Yeah,
bang. Or
which
they,
is very on brand.
yes, or they were friends with one of us and we spent time with them and he did not
Mhm.
like that because it wasn't all
Yeah.
focused on him, the attention seeking prick. Um so I love how much we're getting into this. It's so good. But we, to be fair, we do need to speak about it because it
Oh
needs
yeah.
put out there. So yes, TC decided, oh, I fucking hate Wolf, because of whatever happened. They argued about something, on a call or a message or something. I can't remember what. So TC decides to tell me, and I really fucking hope this wasn't over call because I want to find the message because this is what pissed me off. So TC decides to tell me just to get back at Wolf. I'm so fucking close and it's upsetting me. To get back at Wolf, uh, I'm going to shag his missus, is the exact words he said. Bear in mind,
Ugh.
they're freshly broken up, and Wolf is very distraught and upset as you would be
Mhm.
in such a situation. And obviously, now arguing with such a wanker, it doesn't help. So, yeah, he decides to say that, and Simple's me not liking them anyway didn't really change the fact, but this made me um fully dislike them, to be honest with you. They fell for TC's trap and ended up getting with TC, and it obviously made Wolf at that point kind of upset, which is valid because
Mhm.
if it happened to me, I would very much be upset myself. Like it's kind of how it goes. But yeah, wasn't nice, and he decided to. There's a nice ending to the story, which I found out the other month there. So this is what makes it good.
Ooh.
Um, but TC and Simples were dating now. Boo. And long story short, she lived closer, but England. and he's Edinburgh like me. So yeah, they're dating. It's far away, but not as far as he was going for before, and of a pretty decent age, which is surprising for him. Um, so that was interesting, and yeah, they're together now. Yada yada yada. Um, I want to say it was a good 4 or 5 months. I could be wrong in that, but I still had TC on Facebook at this point. I removed him shortly after he posted the first time that that she had visited him in person.
Oh,
And
okay. I'd like to quickly interject, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Because when me and Sharky went looking for screenshots and such, she went looking on Facebook actually
Oh,
and found two of those posts. I don't know whether or not you know the dates. I'm doubting it.
I don't know the dates, but if you have
But
them,
was
send me them and I can
okay, so
confirm.
I'll send you a screenshot of what Sharky had sent me.
Hmm.
Um the one on the right was January 26th and the one on the left was February 27th.
Okay,
You should be able to see both dates in the screenshot.
awesome. Um, okay, let me open these. Uh, wait, do me a quick favor and speak one more time.
Uh,
Okay,
um,
yeah, no, that's fine. Uh, yes, that is very much simples.
so that is what you're. Okay, okay. The story thickens. I'll have to share this part with. Oh no, because Sharky will listen to the
Yeah.
podcast.
Hi, Sharky. We love you. You're
Hey
cool.
Sharky,
Um,
you are cool.
but yeah, yada yada yada. They're dating. He's trying to make Thingy upset. All that. Turns out, okay, I'm not gonna share how Wolf got this information because I don't know if he wants that out there.
Mm.
But in theory, met again on accident. Told that's as much as I'm gonna say. But they apparently split up because he, believe it or not, Ailish, and I really need you to hold on to your chair. I don't think you'll ever believe this,
Holding my chair.
but they broke up because TC wasn't a nice guy.
What?
I know.
Dude, that's crazy.
So TC's not a nice guy. It's unbelievable. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, but this is what information was passed on to Wolf, and Wolf passed on to me because I love Wolf, and Wolf is my favorite man. Not favorite, maybe, I don't know. But either way, yes, it was passed on. Basically, um, that all happened, and apparently he was abusive, manipulative. Any of this ringing a bell? Because I don't think we
Oh,
spoke about it for like.
no, I haven't heard of any of this before. This is a shocker to me.
Yeah, well, apparently he is. Damn, that is exactly what I was told. Anyway, and again, can't say it's true, can't say it's false. I don't know. I wasn't sleeping with him, so um, yeah, that's what I've been told. And yeah, like I say, they're broken up now, and he's not happy. So yeah,
Boo fucking ew.
uh, not saying they aren't back together now because this was a month or so ago that I was told this. And the way he works, they are probably,
Yeah,
yeah, sadly, but hey ho, these things
sadly.
happen. And I think that's all I have to say on that, to be honest with you. But that is the most recent story of him that I have.
Interesting.
They started dating this year, by the
Sharky
way.
will find that funny. Yeah, me and Sharky had bets on how long before she would realize. Because we both figured out that they were together thanks to when we joined your server and stuff.
Yes.
And so we we were having bets on how long it would last.
Well,
Oh,
okay. I'm gonna tell you this outside the podcast because the only reason I'm saying that I won't say it now, even if I use
mhm,
nicknames, is timelines could be added up and we have logs, so it can very much be traced
mm,
back. So
mhm.
yeah, I think that's all I have to say, to be honest. I don't know about you, but I think that's us on the
Yeah, I
wonderful
think
topic.
I've covered everything. I've gone through good couple of the screenshots. Still have plenty more, but too long. It would take too long and too many stories to even try to understand what the hell is
I've
going on.
just because I really, really want to do it and it's funny as fuck. Please, can I reiterate the last one that you sent me and just say it out loud so
Yes, yes, yes,
everyone
yes.
can see this?
Oh, oh my God, oh my God! I didn't share like the not the best one. I forgot. Okay, we actually do have one last thing for the for the people still listening. Little treat for you guys. A
When
little nugget. Um,
that's ironic.
when
Sorry, that might be
back
the.
in June, back in the June issue, when I found out about all the icky things that he had tried to do or potentially done with multiple underage girls, when I sent him that message, he sent me many things in return. Um, my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, Jamie will share another one in a second here. One of my favorite parts was when he threatened, or not threatened my life, but told me in very complicated fashion to kill myself. His message was as follows: who should really kill themselves, huh? The guy who gets tormented by everyone around him to the point he debates whether he should just pull the plug on his life and fucking slash his own throat on a live stream, or the vindictive bitches who pretend to be who pretend to like an autistic guy because they know how easily he was deceived.
Damn, he should be a poet.
Okay, but now you because that reminded me, now you can share one of the other things that he said in that same stream of messages.
Just, I'm happy to say the other ones that you sent me, but just because I found it
Oh, I forgot
so
about the other ones.
hilarious,
Oh my god.
just because I found it really hilarious, please,
Please,
please
please
say it.
do.
Please, it
Am
was.
I saying the ah ha 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 ha?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as we know from the message I sent to him, I had mentioned that he uses women and that he does not treat women well. This is a known fact. And his response to that particular message, or that particular part of the message, was using people for their bodies. Ah, ha 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 ha. Good one. I have access to you twat.
You know what? Good save. Good save.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just I know that you are probably all very much aware of what she was insinuating, but the reason that we don't say it is YouTube doesn't allow that on there, and we don't know about the rules of Spotify and Apple and all that jazz. So yeah. Now the reason I want to read this is because I'm the Scottish one that and so was he. So I'm gonna put on the most Scottish accent I can to read this. But I feel as soon as I read this, we just instantly basically do the outro and leave it at
Yeah, no, I think this will be a great outro.
that. Oh, all silent now. Aye, pipe down you. Didn't have to approach me like that. You mess with a wolf, you get the fangs. Oh, what a what a poet. Uh,
Oh, Jesus.
so yeah, the got just one more thing to say before we outro, unless you have anything else to say.
Thank you to N2TP Clothing, our sponsor for this podcast episode.
Fuck yeah. Check them out, ntcpclothing.com. They donate 10% of profits to mental health charities. They are sick as fuck. And yeah. So, last thing I want to say is if you are somehow stumbling across this podcast and you have heard us speaking about you, Mr. TC, you're a prick, you're a dick, and we'll see you later. Goodbye, our people.